All right, guys, welcome to this episode of Downtown Rams. As always, I'm your host, Alexis Kraft, joined here with my co host, Jake Ellenbogen. And guys, we have a very special guest today. We have the newest member of the Los Angeles Rams, Quentin Lake, the safety from UCLA who was drafted by the Rams 211th overall in this last NFL draft. And guys, if you listen to our show, you know that Quentin has been here before. So we are very familiar with him. We interviewed him pre-draft. Quentin, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. I'm doing fantastic. I can't complain at all.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome to have you back. We're really excited. I mean, I can't really decide what I'm more happy about: you being on here again and being able to say that you're a Ram, or the fact that the Rams actually drafted you. Because I was just saying off air, I told Alexis, I'm like, they're gonna draft this guy. I can already tell.
Yeah.
But let's start off. For those of you who don't remember our last meeting, some of your final words, Quentin, when logging off last time. Quote, it'd be awesome. It'd be awesome to stay close to home. That'd be great. Well, you're a Ram. So, you're in the NFL, you're staying close to home. What is that feeling like, knowing that you get to stay in the same state you played your college ball in, you're from, and this is where the journey begins?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is, you don't really necessarily have to transition into a new environment. Sometimes when you go to places like let's say I got drafted to, Minnesota, New England, stuff like that, it's a whole new environment that you have to get acclimated to on top of football. So for me, it's just, I'm in LA. I've been in LA, for 10 plus years. So, the weather's not new. I know where to go, all that stuff. It's not going to be that the whole environment outside of football isn't going to be new. So I think that's, a step I'll have above, other people, in the sense that, I just know I'm an LA kid. So it's going to be awesome. And it's kind of crazy that it happened. And I'm so thankful because, it's more so not me only getting acclimated, but, my family can come. We have training camp at UCI. That's 5 minutes away from my house, so family members can come see me, they can, be more so a part of the team and stuff like that. So it's a blessing. It really is. It's a blessing in disguise because, there's a lot of things that happen, throughout the draft process. You're thinking you're going to go someplace and you end up going another place. And it's just interesting and I'll tell that story later on, but it's just interesting to see how it kind of worked out for sure.
For sure. And a lot of people tune into our draft stream, by the way. And when you got drafted by the Rams, Jake and I were freaking out and screaming, and everyone knew that we wanted you to
this
get
cable
drafted.
right out of my headphones.
Yeah.
I was hyped.
But something that people know who watch our stream is I am obsessed when players get drafted by their hometown team. Jake rolls his eyes because I make such a big deal about it. If I like a player and he's not going to come to the Rams, I want him to go to his hometown team because I love that dynamic. I love that they're familiar with the area, they're close to their family. I'm always cheering for that. So it's even better that you got to go to my favorite team and your hometown team. Double win.
Whammy.
Double win.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I think that's really cool. Like you said, it's going to be really special for your family to be able to be so close to the action and get to see you play without having to go too far from home, which is
not too far at all. Yeah.
But I did want to bring up last time we spoke, at the point that we had spoken, you'd only filled out a questionnaire from the Rams. You had said when we had asked you if you'd spoken to the Rams. So did that change after our interview? Was there more contact, or was it still just the questionnaire? And
to be to be honest, I didn't know. I'm thinking in my personal radar, I wasn't thinking the Rams were up there. It was a couple other teams that had a little bit more consistent communication in terms me and the teams. So when the Rams, and then I was it got later in the draft, and I was talking to my agent. And he was like, "Yeah, the Rams like you and all this stuff," but I hadn't heard from them. Even after I did the questionnaire, I didn't really hear from them. It's not like they were calling me, anything like that. So, usually when you're in contact with the team, you're thinking, okay, that's usually a team that has a little bit more interest. But they had said they had been watching me for a while, and I kind of get it. It's why do you need to really keep up with me if I'm right in your backyard? You already have all the information anyway. So I didn't realize that until I actually got drafted. It's like, yeah, they probably really didn't need to keep in contact a lot because they already knew really everything. So, um, yeah, it was a surprise. It was a little bit of a surprise, but like once I understood, like, okay, even though they didn't have a lot of contact, during the whole, process, it made sense. But it was awesome. I mean, for me, like looking back at it, it was probably the perfect situation. There were a couple other teams like that were on my radar, like the Steelers, just because I had family ties and stuff like that. But then I realized, like, in terms of, being able to be successful in the league and then also being like, there were a couple things that I wanted personally, be on a good team, wanted the organization to have stability. That's another thing too. And then obviously have great coaches and stuff like that. Cause, if you're getting drafted to a team that's like, for example, like Detroit, and no offense to Detroit, or like Jacksonville, you have a lot of moving parts within their organization. There's not necessarily a lot of guaranteed stability. So with a team that obviously won the Super Bowl last year, you're going to have a little bit more stability and stuff like that. So in my personal like checklist, I was like, oh, that's awesome. It's close to home. Check that off. Like, you got great mentorship, with guys like Aaron Donald, Bobby Wagner, Jalen Ramsey, all those guys. So another checklist. Like, so it like when I was thinking about it at the time, I didn't realize it, but now it's like, oh my gosh, like this is really the perfect situation to be successful coming in as a rookie.
Yeah, because I remember when we were talking about this, and you're like, yeah, but don't they have like a lot of safeties? Like, I don't know. Like, they're pretty good there. But, I think obviously you have, it's always a contract year coming up because you draft those guys in 2019. Rapp and Scott would both be free agents after the season.
Yeah.
But, on top of it, I'm like, you bring a lot to the table. You're not just a hard-hitting safety. You're not just a ball hawk. Like, you can do everything they're looking for. That's why I came away from the interview, obviously having talked with you, I was like, oh yeah, the Rams will love you. But obviously they didn't really like communicate that much. So I think they they fell in love with your film and they're like, all right, well, if this guy's any good as, his film would say as a person, then yeah, this is going to be our selection. But,
100%.
Either that or you absolutely ace this questionnaire, like beyond capacity.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's always film first. So
yeah, no,
I'm glad that,
I hear that. Now you're drafted at pick 211 by the LA Rams. Can you describe for me the immediate feelings and your reaction when you knew, that NFL career was about to come to life?
Yeah, for me, it was a big relief. It was like, personally, I was disappointed because I wanted to go earlier. I think everybody does just because, but it was a big relief because, teams start calling you about post-draft stuff and then you're sitting there like, damn, am I going to get drafted? So, no, it was a huge relief because the Raiders had called before and I was like, oh, here we go. And then they were just talking about like post-draft stuff and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's a big relief. Obviously, getting drafted in the later rounds, the biggest thing was to get drafted. So I was like, okay, that's a big relief. But then getting picked in the later rounds, I was like, I felt like personally I was maybe, a 3 through 5 type of guy. I just felt like, some of the guys in front of me, obviously they're good players and, they got picked at those spots for a certain reason. But I'm looking like, I feel like my film's better than yours, or I feel like I can do more, So when you see guys go that you might necessarily think you're better than, or, stuff like that, it's kind of puts a little chip on your shoulder. But at the same time, the biggest thing for me was to get drafted because I know what I can do on a team and how I can contribute. So the biggest thing for me was just get your foot in the door. And then once you get your foot in the door, kick it down, because the biggest thing is it's not about making a starting role and all that. You just got to make the team, just make the team and then, keep working, have small incremental steps eventually to get to a starting role, because nothing's just given to you. It's not like you get drafted and you're a starter. That's never how it works. So my thing was, just get drafted and then show all these teams and all the people that even passed up on me, what I can do. So.
And what was the feeling like knowing that a team that just won the Super Bowl wanted you on their team?
That didn't hit me. I was more so like, damn, I just got drafted. But I realized I was like, it's perfect because, one, if you make big plays on a big stage, that just brings more popularity to your name and even more popularity to the team. So like, you know, you're like, I'm assuming the Rams are going to get a lot of primetime games. They're going to get a lot of the popular games. So for me, it was like, oh, that's what you want in football. You want the big time games, and you want to be able to make plays in those games too. So I was like, one, I was very thankful because I know, you know, Coach Sean McVay and the rest of his staff is awesome, you know. But for me, I was like, it's going to be a challenge, and especially because they just dropped the schedule. It's like, okay, you really every week, you know, obviously there's really quote unquote there's really no bad team in the NFL, because everybody's so talented. But at the same time, it's like, you know, you're gonna be in situations where you're gonna be, you know, playing for playoff seeds and playing in big time games and all that stuff, and that's what you want as a player. So it's gonna be great. And then, like I said before, you know, you're getting mentored by, you know, all pros, Pro Bowlers. So you can't be disappointed. Like, I can't be disappointed at all. More so, it's just like I'm happy I got the opportunity and so enthusiastic to really up my game.
No, I absolutely agree. By the way, you are going to be playing. The NFL is now trying this experiment where they're going to compete with the NBA for Christmas. So you're going to be playing on Christmas. I don't know if you knew that. So that's a pretty big game there. But and I think you play 4 other primetime games. So to go to your point there, but you know, obviously watching the tape, Alexis and I kind of have the same thoughts. Like, man, he went over him. Like, really? Like, went over Quentin? So we totally get that. But watching the tape, it's clear and obvious why the Rams would be interested in you. Like I was kind of saying, what do you think was the main thing that, you know, led to the Rams saying we need to get this guy in the draft?
I think all teams just want. There's a lot of factors that go into it. You know, some teams, they just want a guy that, you know, maybe can run super fast, and then they develop him into, you know, whatever. But I think the Rams wanted me more so, or were targeting me because, you know, I do have that versatility. And I don't know if this is part of the game plan, but I was thinking it was kind of like speculation. It's like, okay, well, you know, sometimes Jalen Ramsey plays a star, for example. Yes. He'll go and, you know, move around and stuff like that, which is awesome. But what if they needed him? What if there was a week where we can't move him around and we need him just to lock down, you know, one guy like, say, D-Hop or stuff like that? You know, can we use another guy at that position? You know, can we use another guy that is versatile enough to do that stuff? And I feel like that might have been a part of their, you know, stuff too. And then they're just going to get a guy, and this is kind of me like tooting my own horn, but, you know, that's smart, you know, understands the game, is a workhorse and all that stuff. So you're going to get a guy that's good off the field and then also is very versatile. So you can use him in more ways on the field. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how they use me. But I'm just interested to see. I was more so happy that it's like you're like they understood what they're getting in terms of value of a player. I feel like they understand what they're getting, and I know what I'm getting into. So it's like, it's not like a team's just drafting you because you have all these like prototypical, you know, super fast, and then they're trying to just fit you in. Like, they know what they want to do with me, and then I know what I can be used as. So it works out perfectly for sure.
And have you had any contact with your new teammates yet, your fellow draft class?
So how many out of Jacoby, me, Jacoby, Russ Yeast, we both went to the Shrine Bowl. All 3 of us went to the Shrine Bowl, and we were on the same team. So we all know each other from there. And then we kind of vibed when we were over there. So I talked to Russ, and obviously I'm gonna talk to everybody else, you know, when we report, but probably those 2 guys are I'm the most familiar with, just because, you know, we had Shrine Bowl experiences and, you know, all that stuff. So, and it was a great time. The Shrine Bowl did a, you know, amazing job hosting that, you know, event in Vegas. But I would say those 2 guys. I haven't talked to Jacoby yet, like personally. Probably get his number tomorrow or something, but Russ I've talked to. And me and Russ, we were cool at the Shrine Bowl, so it should be interesting to see how that dynamic continues on the team.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, we're obviously happy for you, and it looks like the Shrine Bowl. I mean, they pretty much everybody from the Shrine Bowl, it seemed like they got drafted. So
yeah, man, it was crazy.
Really starting to move up, in the ranks there. And now I want to ask you, for anyone that didn't see, our first interview with you, what would you say is your biggest strength that you're bringing to the Rams roster from day one?
Yeah, I think it's versatility. And kind of like we were mentioning, I know I'm gonna be, multiple special teams player. I know that for a fact. So that's another part of versatility. And then, I can play down in the box. I can cover slots. I can play back. So it's all like the more versatility that I can bring to the table, the more valuable I can be. And it's not necessarily just being versatile and understanding it, but doing it well. And I feel like I can do that too. So like I said, it should be interesting to see how they use me. But yeah, that's the biggest thing, versatility. A guy that can, blitz, cover, play in the back end, and is smart too. Another thing that I pride myself on is my football intelligence. So, being able to put guys in the right situation, being able to really, pick up the playbook quickly, and not have any, mental errors and stuff like that. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to, learn, the different defenses and stuff like that. But in terms of me adding value, it's definitely versatility for sure.
And kind of touching on the matchup question. So the official schedule release just happened. So we have like all the dates and the times, but we have known for a while the Rams opponents. And I have to ask, is there a particular matchup, a particular game that you're most looking forward to?
There is. We play the Packers. No, actually it's the season opener. The Bills, right?
The Bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. So I would say the Bills, the Packers, and I think if we play the Cowboys, those three.
Well, I'll be at the Packers game at Lambeau, and I am prepared to be cold. It is going to probably that time, December 19th at Lambeau. I mean, Oof. it's I'm still excited. Hey, I'll bring blankets. I'll do what I got to do. But yeah, I'm excited for that game too. Yeah, the season opener, Jake and I both felt it was going to be the Bills. That's like a big matchup.
The Super Bowl 57 preview, man. Yeah. It's I'm trying to go to that game. Being in New York, it's a little harder, but I definitely don't envy you at the cold that you're gonna have to go against with Green Bay. But kind of going into this next question here, what do you think is the most exciting thing about the Rams organization and coaching staff?
I think for me, one, it's experience, but two, it's like they have like an aspiration. It's almost like a thriving energy to be great. I think that's what you want in coaching staffs. Like, sometimes you get, different coaching staffs with, different interior motives or whatever, but I feel like everybody's on the same page. They know what they want to do. They have the guys that can do it. So, and another thing is they're going to keep everybody accountable. You got high level professional athletes all throughout the defense and offense. So I feel like the players and the coaches kind of have the same mindset when it comes to, what the goal is. And obviously they did it the year past. They got a Super Bowl. So kind of continuing that mindset of, we can't slack off. And that's definitely the vibe I got to them is, they want to be that number one team year in and year out. And so I kind of it's interesting because like it reminds me of high school. So I went to Modern Day and we were just, we were whooping ass back to back years. And so, thank God I'm going to a team that's been pretty successful for the last 5 years. But, that's what the kind of mentality I get is, it's win and do anything to win. And I feel like they've done a great job as doing that. Obviously they have a, family environment too. Obviously with the GM's awesome. Les Snead is awesome. Coach Sean McVay, super, high energy, loving coach, but also just gets the job done. So coming in as a player, I feel like for me, it's like I'm going to feel welcomed. And that's what you want to feel as a player. You want to feel welcomed into an environment. And you want to feel like that the team had a lot of thought going into like my pick. It wasn't like, oh, I was just kind of that last guy. They just picked me because, I felt like, and I still do feel like they calculated their decision and really like, this is a guy we need. This is a guy we want, So I'm super excited because I know, at least in this system, I'm going to flourish. And I truly believe that. So, and I feel like the coaching staff, like I said, is just going to do a great job utilizing me and utilizing everybody else they drafted too. But it should definitely be interesting to see.
For sure. And going into this first season, do you have any personal goals for yourself for your first year of your NFL career?
Yeah, 100%. Like I was talking about before, I have like small steps, but I want to be on that all rookie team. I think that's important. Obviously make the 53-man roster is, another thing too. But for me, I want to be one of the best rookies coming into this year. Just because I feel like I can do it, and I'm definitely in a system that I can. So yeah, that's probably my biggest accomplishment right there is one, make it to the playoffs as a team. And I feel like we're gonna do that. But two, just be on that all rookie team and show, the nation and the world that, he was one of the best rookies going into the 2020-2022 NFL year.
I like that goal, man. I like it. I don't know if you saw, but and I don't remember the exact, if it was a coach or if it was a scout for the Rams, but they called you Jordan Fuller 2.0 when they were scouting you. So, he's also a 6th round pick that went from, oh yeah, this guy will play special teams to now he's starting and was a captain last year. So, it's a team that I think looks at all the picks and I think you all can contribute, which is what I love about, when they go and, I'm sure you heard the mantra F them picks. This is a team that, as funny as they say that, their first pick was 104 in this draft. So everyone's going to have to contribute. And that's the only way to make this thing, turn. So I'm excited for you. Just want to ask you again, in case people missed out on the first interview, what are the Rams getting out of Quentin Lake as a person? What are they getting out of you as a player?
Yeah. As a person, at least for me, what I think, as a person, you need to get somebody that's super respectful. I think one of my biggest goals off the field is to leave a lasting impact on people, a lasting positive impact on people. So you're going to get a guy that's selfless, is willing to do anything to, help other people, is kind of puts, his best foot forward, obviously respectful, but, is hardworking and determined. I think that's another thing too. I'm very confident in my ability. So you're gonna get a really, really good man. And I think that's important going into this organization in the sense that, you just want good people around you. And that's what the Rams are going to get out of me in terms of me as a person. And then me as a player, just a workhorse. I'm a guy that I just want to play football. Like I'm itching. It doesn't matter where you put me. I could be the placeholder. Like it doesn't, like you literally can put, like this game has taught me so much, and it has allowed me to fulfill so much joy in my life that I just want to play. You can put me on. I can be the kicker. I can be the punter. Like just put me out on the field. I'm gonna enjoy myself. So you're gonna get a guy that enjoys football. Is super smart. Can communicate well on the field. Obviously has versatility, like we talked about before. But at the end of the day, I just love football, and I work hard. I work hard to enjoy the game. That's kind of like my mantra is. I put all this work, not because I want to get paid, and obviously I want to be the best, but I work hard to enjoy it. Me putting in the work is a part of that process of enjoying the game. It's all a part of me loving the game and stuff like that. So you're just gonna get a player that will do anything to win, and just wants to play the game and loves the game to that extent. So
we love it. We love to hear it. Like we mentioned, we have felt from the beginning that you would end up on the Rams. And then when it finally happened, we were very, very excited to see that. And, right away we were like, we got to get Quentin back. And we figured you'd come back because we know that We know that we're all friends here, but I did want to bring up because last time you were in the show, we recommended Euphoria to you, and I know you've been super busy. So if the answer is no,
I watched it. I binged
you
it too.
you did?
Oh, wow.
I did.
How
I
about
Okay.
did.
So don't answer this honestly if the answer is no, but did you watch it because of us?
Partly,
Yes,
yeah.
partly.
I'll
Okay,
take partly.
there we go.
We'll take
We'll
partly.
take
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
It wasn't
thoughts?
a situation. I can't say it was a situation where it was like the next day you guys told me and I watched it. It just kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, I got some time. I'll put it on, and then I
Mhm.
remember you guys telling me, so I was like, oh, perfect.
Yeah.
And then it was good though. It was good. It kind of dwindled down at the end, but
Yeah.
for the most part,
Yeah.
it was pretty.
It's not
Yeah.
over. There's going to be a season 3 someday.
Yeah.
I think it's what, 2024.
In like 5 years,
Yeah.
they'll get around to it.
It's a
Takes them
joke.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
We still gotta
season
watch.
one.
Well, at least I gotta still watch Ozark because you recommended that.
yeah, I haven't. Yeah.
So,
They've been coming out with some new episodes. I think I haven't got to those, but for the most part, what I've seen.
I think they
The-
just finished it actually.
They finished it,
Yeah.
the season
Yeah.
finale or
Okay,
series
cool.
finale. Yeah, season one of Euphoria definitely I think was better than the second in terms of like captivity and
Yeah.
and whatever. But hey, it's all good. They're
Did
gonna
we
have a third
recommend you
season.
music, by the way? I can't remember if we did or not.
I don't.
It was like
You
the
asked
rock
me. I think you
music.
asked me my favorite artist.
Yeah, and then I think off air, and I can't remember this, but I think you asked what I listened to because I said I wasn't into the genre that we were talking about at the time.
Yeah.
And then I think
I
I
don't
recommended you a rock band, and I wasn't sure. I could be wrong, but I
Maybe
think
you. I mean, maybe I don't really necessarily remember either, but
yeah, it was a little bit ago.
Yeah.
A lot
It
has
was a
happened
little while
since then.
ago. It's been a
Yeah.
busy time, especially
Yes.
for Quentin.
Yes.
Definitely. But yeah, glad to hear you watched Euphoria. And glad that you're a Ram. I mean, really,
Yeah.
really excited. And when you got drafted, my instinct was to text you right away and like freak out. But I was like, I'm gonna give him a few days because he's probably getting 150 texts. So I'll text him after the weekend.
Yeah.
Which is what I ended up doing because I'm sure that your phone was like exploding.
It's blown up.
Yeah, I can imagine, but definitely excited for you. We'll be at some games. I'm trying to figure out which games I'll be at. I know Jake is trying to figure out which games he'll be at. We'll probably end up being at one of those. I'd be surprised if we don't go to one of the same
Mhm.
one of the same games. So that'll be fun to see you play in person. And yeah, I mean, welcome to the Rams, staying in LA.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great just to be one in LA. It's just fun being in LA in general. Because there's a lot to do outside of football. Obviously, that you can get in a little bit of trouble if you just. But at the same time, if you're locked in, there's a lot of stuff like that can get your mind away from football. You can I can see my family if I wanted to on the weekend, so that's just a big plus about it. But yeah, I'm super excited. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be super fun.
It's gonna be very fun. What number are you gonna rock, by the way? if you
Same
already
one.
know?
Same
Okay,
one.
cool. All right.
Yeah.
I dig it.
That's what I did a tweet like 2 days ago where I predicted everybody's numbers,
Mhm.
and I had you in 37.
I had to.
Yeah.
It was only right.
It feels you were 37 in LA. You're staying 37 in LA. UCLA to the Rams.
I haven't had a different
Love
number.
it.
I can't even remember
Never?
a 37 on
Never.
the Rams. So that's your number, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm probably going to get like the old heads like coming after me. I'm forgetting some legend or something, but
Yeah.
it's not retired. So it is Quentin Lake's number. I'm excited to see you rocking that. We'll be watching, following all the camp updates. Obviously, we're not in LA, but following the camp updates, watching preseason and then regular season, and beyond. And hopefully at some point we can reconvene when things aren't as hectic, maybe, bye week or something along those lines. But you're always welcome on the show, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. And we are really ecstatic about you being a Ram.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys so much too. It's been a wild ride, but it's just the beginning. So I'm excited to see what's gonna happen in these next couple of months for sure.
We're excited for you. We'll definitely be in touch.
Got to.
And until then, stay healthy. Stay healthy.
Yes.
And
Please.
please stay healthy. We're excited to see what you can do. And we know that you'll do big things. And before you know it, the season opener will be here Thursday night against the Bills in LA.
Yep.
Very exciting.
No, super excited.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, Quentin. We really appreciate it. We know it's a busy time. You're reporting tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Yep. Crazy, but exciting. Crazy. Yeah. Good crazy.
Yeah. Great crazy. Yep.
Great crazy. Well, you have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And we, like I said, we'll be in touch. We're excited for you.
Of course. No, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having me on too.